Welcome back to another episode of The Football Chemist, where we use data to go through football's biggest talking points without boring or confusing you with all that technical jargon. Today, we'll be looking at life at Liverpool after Trent Alexander-Arnold, who looks set to join Real Madrid when his contract expires this summer. However, the Reds are currently linked with Bayer Leverkusen wingback Jeremie Frimpong as a potential replacement. But who is he, and what can he bring to Liverpool? And what about Conor Bradley, and how does he fit in alongside Bradley? Let's get into it. So first things first, who is Jeremie Frimpong? Jeremie Frimpong is a 24-year-old right wing-back who plays for Bayer Leverkusen. He excelled under Xabi Alonso last season as the side went unbeaten in the Bundesliga. He's experienced of playing in England and the UK as a whole, as he came through Manchester City's youth system before being signed by Celtic, where he spent a year and a half before Bayer Leverkusen signed him for €11 million. In terms of his style of play, he's very much a wing-back rather than a full-back, but this could suit Liverpool, who will be attacking a lot in the Premier League, seeing more of the ball. They don't need a defensive full-back as much as other teams might. Because of this, his stats are quite skewed because he ranks very highly in the attacking stats, but he is quite low in the defensive stats. For example, as we can see here, he is in the 99th percentile for so many stats, including some of the key attacking ones. Look at his expected goals, look at his touches in the attacking penalty area. On the other hand though, when he really struggles in some statistics, he is right at the bottom. And this is no slight on him, it's just the position he plays. He's not really a winger, he's not really a fullback, he's somewhere in between, so you're going to get the highs and lows. And whilst it may look like he struggles in defence, the stats definitely make this look like a bigger problem than it actually is. For example, he has yet to make an error that has led to a goal for the opposition this season, and is very impressive, especially compared to Alexander-Arnold, who has made several for Liverpool. Interestingly though, in terms of his style of play, he does struggle a bit as a passer. His attacking output is mainly through his dribbling and his positioning, rather than through playing passes that pierce the opposition defence and play attackers in like that. And this is evident when we take a look at his scatter plot here. This is comparing him against every single other player in the Bundesliga. I've highlighted Frimpong over here, where you can see he is one of the best players in the league in terms of progressive passes received and carries into the penalty area. He does have a slight edge over his teammate on the other flank, Alex Grimaldo. And this shows that although Bayer Leverkusen do play quite a unique system, he's still outperforming his teammate, who's probably the most reliable player that we can compare him to. But to have creative numbers this high up compared to other midfielders and forwards really does say a lot about Frimpong's strengths. But not only are his numbers encouraging in this metric, but he's able to convert this into genuine chances, genuine goals, and genuine assists. We can see this when we look at this scatter plot on his chance creation. As we can see here, he is third in the league amongst defenders for progressive carries, and he is also very much up there for his expected goal contributions. He compares very well with his teammate here as well, and both of them are the two leaders really in the league. No one else is anywhere near them. And it's this style of play that does suggest that Frimpong can even play as a winger rather than a fullback. So if Liverpool do sign him, Arne Slot might have a dilemma on where to play him, but we'll cover that a bit more later. So why are Liverpool linked with Frimpong? As mentioned before, Trent Alexander-Arnold looks set to leave this summer, and so they need a replacement on the right flank. Frimpong has a £33 million release clause, and the main competition Liverpool face is from Real Madrid, who won't need a right back anymore if they do sign Alexander-Arnold. Frimpong is considered one of the best attacking right backs in Europe, and he is still only 24. He's got plenty of time, not only to mould his game, but to deliver for years to come. So if Frimpong is going to replace Alexander-Arnold, how does he compare against him? Frimpong will have very big boots to fill, given what Alexander-Arnold has provided for the Reds in his career. And all in all, they have got very different styles of play. I mentioned before that Frimpong was more of a dribbler, where he likes to run with the ball and get into the box directly. Alexander-Arnold, on the other hand, as you will know, is much more of a passer. He creates his chances with his long balls, his crosses, feeding in players like Salah, or even the cross-ball passes to players like Diaz or Gakpo. And this is evident when we look at the two heat maps side by side. Frimpong hugs the touchline a lot more than Alexander-Arnold does. He prefers to drift inside a bit. Interestingly as well, Frimpong gets further up the pitch than Alexander-Arnold, helped by the system that he does play in, of course. But it does show that he creates chances in a very different way and is a completely different profile of right back to Alexander-Arnold. Also, when we look at the stats, it does appear that Alexander-Arnold is actually a slightly better defender, because when we look at their two polygons side by side, we can see that Frimpong really does struggle in some key defensive stats. His interceptions and tackles won numbers are really low, whereas Alexander-Arnold, despite all the stick that he gets as being a fullback that can't defend, is quite impressive in these numbers. Again though, Frimpong's stats are skewed by the fact that he is a wing-back, not a fullback, and so doesn't get into defensive positions as much as a genuine fullback like Alexander-Arnold does. So although they are completely different profiles of right-back, it could be time for Liverpool to move on to a different profile of right-back, because Alexander-Arnold is struggling more under Slot than he was under Klopp. And this could be due to a bit of a change in philosophy for Slot in how he likes to use his fullbacks at Liverpool. Because it is evident that Alexander-Arnold is not as productive as he used to be this season. We can really see this when we look at some of the selected stats per 90 minutes here. It's just all trending downwards really for Alexander-Arnold here. He's getting fewer progressive passes received, his goal creating actions are down, and it's a bit harder to see, but his expected goal contributions is also on the way down as well. And although we could put this down to the change of role and cherry picking the stats a bit by saying that he is not getting forward as much, and this is why he is not contributing as much, when we look at some of the numbers that shouldn't be going up, they are going up. His errors are up compared to before. He's losing more challenges and he is getting dispossessed more. So there's something that just isn't quite right for Alexander-Arnold in this system of slots. But of course, if Alexander-Arnold does leave, Frimpong is not the only replacement. And fortunately for Liverpool, they've got a replacement in their squad already. So what about Conor Bradley? He might be young, but so far in his Liverpool career, he has shown that he is first team ready. He's also shown this on the international stage as well, where he's settled in well for Northern Ireland and has even led them on occasion. So despite his youth, Slot might be tempted to promote him into that first team spot straight away, because what we have seen from him so far shows that he is actually quite a similar profile of player to Frimpong. He is also a right back who traditionally likes to progress the ball up the pitch while sticking quite close to the flank. And just like Frimpong as well, his progressive passing numbers are down, but his ball carrying numbers are up as well. And when we look at his best and his worst statistics, we also see the story we saw with Frimpong, where his highs are very high, his lows are very low, and he seems to be strongest as well in the same kind of statistics. His numbers are up there for his touches in the attacking penalty area. His numbers for carrying are up there as well. It's really impressive stuff for Bradley, and it does show that he is ready to make that step up. And this is more evident when we compare their two polygons side by side. Yes, the numbers are a bit skewed here, but they do tend to offer similar styles. They've got their own individual strengths, where Bradley appears to be a stronger defender than Frimpong, but again, Frimpong's stats are lower in this metric because he's a wing back. On the other hand though, Frimpong does offer a bit more stability in terms of his discipline, and this might be a bit of an age thing, and it might be something that Bradley grows into as he gets older, but there might be some underlying reason why this is the case as well. So we've got two players here, two very similar styles, two right backs. What does Slot do? He can't play both of them at right back, but this is where something else opens up for Frimpong. Can he play as a right winger? Because of course Liverpool might have to replace someone at right wing as well. Alexander-Arnold looks to be on the way out this summer, but Mo Salah might be on his way out too, as his contract also expires in June. There's no news yet on negotiations or whether Salah will stay or go, and it's anyone's guess. But if he does go, Slot will need to replace a huge player in his team, and Frimpong could be that utility player who can play anywhere on that right flank, and that's why he is such an attractive option. He can play as a winger as well, and his stats here do stack up against Bundesliga's best, even when you compare him to other wingers. When compared to other attacking midfielders, he's still up there. Look at his crosses, his progressive passes, his touches in the attacking penalty area. His numbers are up there, even though he plays the majority of his matches as a right wing back, a lot further back than most of the wingers in the Bundesliga. So to be fighting with these guys, despite his disadvantage in terms of position, really says a lot about his attacking output. And what gives Liverpool even more encouragement that Frimpong can play as a winger is that he has been doing it recently for Leverkusen. In the last 4 matches he has started for Bayer Leverkusen, he started as a right midfielder in what's kind of like a 4-4-2 for Xabi Alonso. And when we look at his heat maps in the last 4 matches, this is absolutely evident. Again, it's what we saw of him as a wing back, where he hugs the touchline, but he is a lot further up here as well. So you can see how he's getting into the right positions as you'd expect for a winger. But we are even seeing some small areas where he likes to break into the box, which will be key if he is replacing Salah, who does this so many times for Liverpool. However, he is not a like-for-like replacement for Salah, not in the slightest, because there's absolutely no way that he'll be able to match Salah's goal tally if he does come in and plays on the right side of Slot's front three. Therefore, he won't be an exact replacement for Salah, and so Liverpool would need to readjust in other areas should Salah leave. Frimpong's not the only solution. Maybe they do need a striker. Maybe that's why they're so interested in someone like Alexander-Arnold, who brings guaranteed goals. So can Jeremie Frimpong replace Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool? All in all, he's not a like-for-like replacement, but that doesn't mean that Liverpool shouldn't sign him. He is such a versatile option, and he can provide competition for Bradley and flexibility on that right flank, especially if Salah leaves. Whilst his numbers have shown that he might be weak defensively, I don't think this is the case. He has made very few errors in his career, and the reason why he has low defensive numbers is because of the system that he is playing in. He can adapt to be a right back in a back four. However, Liverpool already have a player who can be a right back in a back four, and that's why I think Conor Bradley is more likely to be Alexander-Arnold's heir than someone like Frimpong. But Frimpong could be Mo Salah's heir. £33 million is a lot of money though for someone who could end up just being a squad player or a utility player. However, there's no doubt that he would improve Arne Slot's team. So if Liverpool do have the cash to splash, which they should given how little they spent in the last transfer window, then he is a great option. But what do you think? How do you feel about Alexander-Arnold leaving Liverpool? Are his boots just too big to fill? Or can someone like Frimpong come in and replace his assist numbers? Or is it time for Liverpool to have a bit of a change in philosophy and go for Conor Bradley as their starting right back? Let me know what you think in the comments below and give this video a like if you like what you've seen. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and for some more behind the scenes content and short form content, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. I'll see you next time.